Now, Senator James Lankford, Republican, Oklahoma. Senator, welcome to the program. We've been watching, of course, the Pope's presentation. I am saying that it was not political in nature. It was heavy on Christian principle, geared towards individuals rather than geared towards political policy. What do you say, sir?
Yeah, I would say so. He was very careful, even in those words, that he didn't talk a lot about faith. I mean, there are a lot of areas where the Catholic Church has been directly under assault by this U.S. government. U.S. Council of Catholic Bishops being prohibited from some of their grants, being pushed out, some of the adoption agencies, all these different things that are happening. But he was very careful when he talked about the golden rule, doing unto others, you have to do unto you. He seemed to also practice that in his speech, and to be able to lay out a set of ideas and a set of principles, even centering around the beginning of it, around Moses, to say Moses was really the lawgiver, but he directed us towards God, and that's a good path. So for someone that's coming from a faith perspective, it's a good thing to be able to direct a nation that is in desperate need of walking in faith back to faith.
It was in no way confrontational. I don't think the Pope picked a fight with any faction of any kind whatsoever. It was straight down the middle.
Yeah, there were multiple opportunities to be able to lay out confrontational things and to be able to actually confront and say this is a problem both for the church and in government, but he chose not to do that and was very, very careful in his words. Now, that'll be something obviously we that are elected have to continue to be able to unpack and to be able to walk through in the days ahead, because there are serious faith issues that we're dealing with as a nation. But this is an issue he chose to be able to lay a set of principles down and to be able to then smile and walk away.
Would you have preferred him to be more confrontational? Would you have preferred him to state his case on abortion, state his case on the family? Would you?
I am very passionate about those issues. I know he is as well. I always prefer to be clear and to say, here's what the Bible says, here's what we should practice as a society as well. I think that's a basic principle for someone that is of faith. For people that choose not to have faith, obviously they're going to have a different set of standards. But my preference is always to be very clear when the Bible is clear on things when you deal with issues of faith. And he uniquely has that platform to be not only a world leader, but also a faith leader as well. And so, yeah, it's always my preference to be clear and blunt, but that's kind of the nature of it. He gets the opportunity to be able to lead out in the way he sees best, and I'd honor him in that.
Senator, members of Congress were told not to do standing ovations, not to politicize the issue, but I counted 11 standing ovations. Were they, in fact, political standing ovations? In other words, did the Democrats stand up for one thing and the Republicans stand up for another? Was it equal opportunity ovation?
Well, we did see a little back and forth on the ovations. Eventually, they had told us, hey, this is going to be more of a faith presentation. And then when he said at the beginning of this, America, the home of the free and the land of the brave, there was such an excitement in the room that obviously that once it broke once, it just broke. But there were times, for instance, when he talked about life should be protected from beginning to end, the Republicans all stood and a few Democrats and the majority of the Democrats stayed seated and didn't respond to him saying life should be protected from beginning to end. But yet when he talked about issues of environment and that we need to be able to stand up in environment, the Democrats immediately multiple times jumped up and down. You had multiple Republicans that were applauding on it, but not the same kind of political response.
Senator James Lankford, Republican, Oklahoma. Thanks again for joining us, sir. We appreciate you being with us on what is an extraordinary day. Thank you, Senator.
It is an extraordinary day. Thank you.
I'm going to break away from